is going on, my fellow otakus and otakues? It's your boy Cam, and we are back with a brand new episode of Black Otakus of the Culture. This will be episode 2, technically, of our new channel, which I'll explain later. But for now, I got the boy Trell Sav on. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Yo.
So, update, if you haven't checked our Twitter, we do have a brand new YouTube channel. Details are on our Twitter and also will be in the link in the video description below. So the reason being is because the way we set up our old channel, it was through Chris's like old ass email account. So like, even though we've been doing Tweeking Media on YouTube for about like 2 years now, YouTube is treating our account like it's 11 years old. So we figured that we would just transfer everything over to a brand new account where all new content, future content will be uploaded. I have also started putting in some old content from our old YouTube channel sporadically. I'll be dropping that sporadically throughout the time as we start building up this new YouTube channel. So that's how it is. Also, Early Clown, YouTube. How are you a multi-billion-dollar, or Google, how are you a multi-billion-dollar company and you have one of the worst ways to ever transfer accounts or start a new account? Like, you can't, the fact that I can't create a new channel and just take my archive and put it on on a different channel is crazy. But shout out to me for keeping up all of my old videos on my storage drive. So it was just a matter of just copy paste monotony shit like that. So obviously all of our old content isn't going to be on the new YouTube channel. I just put in like the stuff that I thought was like, you know, stuff that like I thought people would care about. But in the future, if there is a need for you to go back and look at our old badly edited videos, then I'll be sure to upload it if there are any future requests for that. So let's get started. Obviously, Chris is not with us. He's being a Bezos slave right now, so it's just me and Trell for this podcast episode, and we are going to get started with what's cracking for like the only anime that was relevant this past week, because for me, I've been keeping up weekly, and like we're basically this week coming up. This is recorded on a Saturday. Is going to be the last week for summer season of anime, and honestly, there's nothing worth mentioning with the exception of like Classroom of the Elite, which has been really good. But like again, nothing really jumped out to me this week to worth talking about. But Netflix, fuck you Netflix. I just had to say that. Has released. In collaboration with CD Projekt Red, the highly, I don't know, question mark, anticipated anime, CyberPunk Edgerunners. So me and Detra, we both saw it. I'm assuming we both binged it in a day, right, Detra?
Yeah, man. Not often do animes get the OG Trello could tackle animes in a day. But I was able to throw that aside of my hatred of mid anime and see if Cyberpunk was going to pique my interest, and it definitely did, because I was locked the fuck in, and I haven't been locked in on an anime in like that since Ranking the Kings. I think Ranking the Kings I binged in like 2 days. So
yeah. And JoJo technically too. JoJo Part.
Let's not talk about that.
It's also crazy because this is fucking Studio Trigger as well. And if you don't know, I have an intense hatred for Studio Trigger because they like make the same anime. They literally make the same anime. If you check, like,
you can see it. You can see it in this shit too, by the way. So it's not like a bad take.
It's not it's not the core Studio Trigger format where it's literally we're fighting against this enemy, then you find out that the enemy that you're fighting against is actually your friend, and the enemy comes from like outer space or some shit, and the enemy that you've been fighting along was actually protecting you type shit. That's literally Studio Trigger format. This wasn't apparent in this one, which I can appreciate, but I definitely, it's crazy. It's like I want to give CD Projekt Red like a lowercase W, but I also want to give them a clown, because it's like, dude, Like this anime basically encapsulated what the game should be about. It's
anime
crazy.
Actually was crazy. The anime, I'll talk about it later after we just talk about the show. But the anime actually made the game better, and it's insane.
I would definitely say that. I definitely agree with that.
Like,
I agree with that.
It's crazy, but the show itself, we don't have to go through episode to episode.
Nah.
Give a quick synopsis what it's about. It's about like David. What's his name, Mike? David
Martinez, or D for sure.
Or D.
Had to
shout out to the premium names that CyberPunk like to give. But David Martinez, just his life in Night City. It starts off with him being in school, but not really working out for him. Always kind of like a delinquent. The Japanese fan base love they delinquents. And him, I'm doing a real quick synopsis. Just get in contact with a girl by the name of Lucy, who is a net runner for a gang of Edgerunners. Is Edgerunners the game, or is that the crime?
That's their cyberpunk gang name.
Okay, so again, she's a net runner for the gang called Edgerunners. And that gang is about pulling off, the same thing you do in Cyberpunk, doing small time jobs, murdering a lot of people for money. But it just shows his life and how it gets from point A to point absolute F my life Z.
Jesus Christ!
in life,
it's such an escalation from 1 to 10.
I think what best encapsulates what best shows about Night City, because a lot of things, even in the first episode of people getting shot, or like if anybody peeped, like the fat dude using a freaking a pocket vagina on himself or something like this crazy. But even shows that his mother got it was a car crash because two rival gangs were shooting each other, and his car flipped over, and his mother, who was injured and could have been saved, but since she didn't have that premium insurance,
she didn't have that Trauma Team Platinum membership.
Yeah, she ended up getting left there and die. And I really had David just rethink his life and how being an upstanding citizen means nothing. So he ends up becoming an edge runner, doing a lot. He ended up finding this cyberware called a Sandanistan or something like that.
Yeah, Sandanistan. Yeah.
And that makes him like go through time or go really, really fast. One of the two. Just makes him go really, really fast, and it's kind of like stopping time. And with that, he's able to be a very, 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 very good gangbanger. You know what I'm saying? But what I think the best thing this story did was talk about how a lot of shit come at a cost, and his Afghanistan came at a cost of him going absolutely insane.
Yep, cyberpsychosis.
It's cyberpsychosis, and it led up to this point. You got to see his homie by the name of
his name was Maine, I think. I think it was Maine.
Maine, yeah, it was Maine. You got to see his homie Maine, and how as he continued to upgrade himself, he slowly but surely turned psycho. And I think at them episodes right there is when that anime, like all the episodes was fun. I love very like gory anime when it comes to like shooting and stuff like that. All that was good, but when the story started kicking off with like the cyber psychosis and how it was affecting him, episode 6, and how it was affecting him, it really turned up, like really turned up. That episode was really done well in terms of the animation of him as he is cyber psychosis. All he sees is a desert.
Yeah,
that's all he sees is a desert. But around him, he is like body and stuff. And his girl who died, he thought he set up a pyre of like woods and stuff for a funeral, but he put a whole bunch of gas tanks on top of each other, and it was really good. I think another thing it shows is like how I didn't even know Mass Tech existed in Cyberpunk 2077, and I played that game more than anybody.
The police don't exist. So.
Yeah, exactly. But I played that game more than anybody, and Mass Tech seems like a literally. I was like, bro, they make it Mass Tech seems like the end all be all of like police people. And
they showed them niggas once to my knowledge, in 2077, that's the beginning of the game. You and Jackie are driving, and in the bridge, and you see the bridge, and it's like, oh, that's Mass Tech. They some real ass niggas. Like, oh, okay.
So technically, in the game, you can get a high enough stars in which Mass Tech approach you, but the police is so garbage in that game that they just pop up. They don't come in the sky with the thing. They just pop up, and the police are so stupid. You can shoot them as they just blip in the air. I was testing out the star system because they're going to update it soon, but I was testing it out before they updated. And I literally was killing a whole bunch of cops. And mind you, now, in other games, once you kill a lot of cops and you like wipe out the whole block, you kind of got to wait for cops to come or your stars to start flashing because you wiped out the police. They just disappeared. Mind you, cops were still right there. Cops were still right there shooting, and my stars just disappeared. And they stopped shooting at me. And I got like cop bodies all around me. And I'm like, okay, I was going to do another mission. But just as you continue with the story, I definitely would tell people to go watch it.
Yes.
I just want to give a quick synopsis because we got a lot to talk about. But at the end, D becomes this hunk of a cyber.
They gave this nigga a fucking a One Piece time skip. I was like, what the hell?
Bro, I'm talking about pure metal, and a whole bunch of betrayal and stuff happened to the point that he ended up doing his job, in which he had to get inside this tech to go save his girlfriend. And those scenes is really beautiful. At the end, it shows the price of cyber psychosis, being an edge runner, being a gangster, living in Night City. When it all came down to meeting, I think the end all be all shows for a lot of people's stories, except for V and Cyberpunk, is you're going to get to this point when you see Adam Smasher.
As soon as
see Adam Smasher,
because I was trying to figure out like what timeline wise, where does this take place, right? And I was like, as soon as they mentioned Adam Smasher, I was like, okay, so most of them are gonna die then.
Yeah. So what's cool about that scene right there is that just like in the game, I think the game did Adam Smasher dirty.
That nigga weak as hell compared to what he was in the anime.
I wish there was more like encounters with Adam Smasher that you can have to show how strong he is, or at least do a couple gigs for him or something like that, right?
Or like a nemesis type thing where he just pops up randomly and fucks you up.
Yeah, like you doing a gig for like Arasaka, and he comes in and just clear out all the enemies for you and be like, I got this. But like something like that, because Adam Smasher technically in the game, there is a climactic boss fight that you have with him. He's technically the last boss, but they don't build up his story. You know what I'm saying? He killed somebody that you met like 2 days earlier, but they don't bring up his, well, it depends on which ending you make. But he kills people but it don't really bring.
There's no connection between me and Adam Smasher.
Yeah, in this one, they talk about how Adam Smasher is the merc of all mercs. He was the savior of the war, even though he brutalized every single person that he went against. And they made him seem like just this giant. And I was like, I can't wait till they show Adam Smasher in the show, because you can't talk about him and not show him. And when they had that nigga on the couch, just sitting there, I'm like, that's what I'm talking about, folks. And he said, he was like, look, if it ain't gonna be no fun, I ain't even gonna want to do this. And then he saw it was some fun. And when I say, you'd think like D, because he's a protagonist, will somehow get out. Adam Smasher worked, folks.
He got his ass stomped.
Like, Adam Smasher, he did the Savannah thing. Adam Smasher did it too. He was like, bro, you think this? It was like
the Justice League live action when Flash and Superman goes like.
You think this is like a?
He said this shit is light. This is light work, bro.
He was like, the homie that had it before you couldn't handle it, nigga. I can. And Adam Smasher completely destroys D, and then D end up saving Shorty, but also another one of my favorite characters. I can't think of her name.
Becca
came out shooting and got absolutely body.
I was like, please, at least, because like Falco survived. I'm like, okay, at least let Becca survive, because she was ride or die, bro. I was like, man, at least
ride or die for real.
I was like, bro, she was probably like my top 3 characters of the show, because like I think that's the thing. Another thing that I like about the anime, I actually like really cared about these characters. Now, the cast of Cyberpunk 2077 is good, but I felt more of a connection with like D and his crew versus V and the people in 2077.
And I think in the aspect of the show, it shows how much they could have done with the story. Because you see shades of it, right? They're so like, I think, like one particularly side quest or a string of missions that shows that they really got into really good character work. It's two, technically. It's the Pan Am stuff, in which they did a really good character work with her character and V himself, and it don't feel rushed. Like it's like everything that led up to the conclusion with Pan Am felt perfect. Like you feel good after you help Pan Am with her situation.
Yeah.
Judy's feel good, even though like the Judy stuff is filled with you waiting for her to call you and shit like that.
Yeah.
The guy, like all the romance
options, with the exception of Carrie. Carrie's is kind of
Carrie's is fast paced.
Yeah,
I don't remember it, but some of the animations, like when you have to relive Johnny, when you have to be Johnny Silverhand on the guitar, that was crazy. You can look back and Shorty is not just playing the drums like this; she's literally playing the drums and going crazy. When I'm like, they did such a in Cyberpunk was supreme job with like the side quest for the romances. And then I think like Johnny Silverhand with like his side quest was like Rogue, in which you build up back his outfit, so his pants, his tank top, those are really, really, really good as well. And I think when they really was focusing on that character work, they did their job. Now the story, I think, is like a little bit rushed in my opinion. It branched off into those characters, but also like you don't get that much with Takamura. Again, you don't get that much with Adam Smasher. You forget that the main antagonist is Orinabu's son. You forget all about that.
Dude. After the heist, who cares? It just becomes about his daughter.
And it's really good. Some of the stuff in Cyberpunk is really good, and a lot of it like fail to get where it's supposed to be. It's
crazy because as much as I critique Cyberpunk, I'm currently replaying it again because the anime made me go like, all right, let me check the game out again. So I'm currently doing a whole new playthrough with the PS5 version.
And I want to tell y'all something real quick.
It is a night and day difference.
The superior power of a PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X is insane.
It is a night and day, but it still got some nasty bugs on there. Man, my man Jackie, bro, my Jackie would not stop walking around with guns clipped to his hands.
Yeah, no, I read into that too.
We put your piece in the car.
And then Jackie, when you went Maelstrom trying to get the bot, this nigga talking like this with the gun. I'm like, you about to blow up the spot.
It's just, but like, it's like it's like as much. It's one of those things. It's like, damn, this game is already because at this point, right? At this point, Cyberpunk to me is a great game in a sense, right? Yeah. Like, if I were to rate it at where it is now, it's a great game. Obviously, if I take its initial launch, hell no. But where it is now, it is a great game. And it's such a shame that it took this long to get to this point when it could have been it could have been that from the beginning. And I think Bino said mentioned this in the chat, and I kind of agree. I feel like, and this is, preface this with them actually developing Cyberpunk 2077 competently, right? But I can just imagine the anime coming out first, and you see all this cool shit with the sand, the freaking cyberware thing, and it's like, oh yeah, you can do that in the game, and the game is dropping in like less than a month. You got this anime to hype up the game. It's kind of like what Final Fantasy 15 did. With for those who didn't know, when Final Fantasy 15 came out, before it came out, there was like the CGI movie called not Brotherhood, I forgot what it was called, but it was basically, it took the events of, so in chapter 1 in Final Fantasy 15, when you find out that like, oh yeah, Noctis, your dad's dead and your kingdom got taken over. That movie is about what happened in that instance. So like basically the king dying, all of this stuff, you get all that lore and stuff, but it also serves a purpose of kind of hyping up some things that you can do in the game, because in that game the main character, he put on the ring and he was like teleporting and doing all this other stuff, and it's like, oh, I could do that, I could do this shit in the game, and it was kind of a good build up to like, this is the world, this is some of the lore, but this is also a prelude of some stuff that you can do in game. And I'm just like, dude, that's fucking sand thing, which you just like, that should be so cold if you could do that in game, because you see some enemies doing that when they like blipping and shit and going all over the map, and it's like,
and they, with the update, they actually added everything that you see from the show into the game, so you can get his Afghanistan. You do have to build your character
around it.
Around it. But like, I saw a nigga on YouTube. He was moving through time and nobody could. It was so good. And then like Shorty's wires. That's one of the strongest weapons in the game now. But you pointed out something, and Cyberpunk and Final Fantasy is very similar, in which updates later became a crazy game.
Great game, yeah.
Like, bro, the Royal Edition of Final Fantasy 15 is a crazy game, bro. Like, from you switching to different characters, to the added on to the story, to the added on to more enemies, to the game being running smoother and stuff like that. Night and day. Same thing with this game. It's just that, you know, and it's hard to blame devs, and it's more of the suits who say release the game. Yeah. Release the game, even though everybody knew, like, going into Cyberpunk, we say that it was ambitious, and we can't see that game being for a system like a PS4. Because as much as, it's really the PS4, because I heard the Xbox didn't have that bad of a problem. It was like low-end PCs and PS4s that just could not really run that game. And knowing this, like, for people who had you low-end PC niggas know how ambitious games are, because half the time y'all can't run Minecraft. But also us who eat, sleep, and crap the PS4 for the 5, 6, 8 years that it was in. Man. You know, we know that some games, like, it ain't the best. Like, we know that, like, God of War pushed the PS4.
Spider-Man PS4.
Like, Spider-Man pushed it. Like, when games just crashed and stuff like that, because it couldn't take it. Like, we knew this thing, so it was an ambitious game going into it. But like, the anime itself did so good. Right now, Cyberpunk got an uptick on Steam. Like, it's at like 50 or 80,000 current players right now. The reviews for the anime is certified fresh at a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes. So they have such a good thing going that DLC cannot break it, bro. It has to be good.
You gotta come swinging on that bitch, boy.
Because like, if you play this game now with some of the update they added, even some of the quality of life stuff, like,
it's good. I'm enjoying my playthrough.
I start, like, because I want to get another platinum on the PS5 version, so I had to, like, you know, get up there and like technical ability with crafting and do some strength stuff to do a certain thing. But when I'm not doing those two for the trophies, I'm going into intelligence and just like the cyberware stuff of being like kind of like a net runner type thing, and making niggas commit suicide, and you can make a nigga go cyber psychosis with the stuff too. And it's really freaking good, yo. And even just that, like, going back and looking at the story, going back and playing, I just got done doing, like, the prelude to Pan Am stuff, like when Scorpion died and stuff like that. I just did that. I'm doing, like, the Judy missions. They added an outfit thing in which you can change your outfit and it don't affect your armor.
Yes.
So you can go into your room and make
I was like, thank you. Thank you.
The game, like if they would have just had like a car customization, I probably would not stop playing this game. And it's so good. Like right now, I got a strength build. So since I like get a strength build or a strength / intelligence build, I was like, let me play with shotguns, and I go around the shotgun. And now I'm using what's that? The little girl named like Becca, or whatever it is. She has a shotgun that you can get for free that you can find like in the center of where she got splattered at Kobeki Tower.
Damn.
And you can find it in a bush, and it does insane amounts of damage, and it just blows people up, and it feels so good. Like especially with this beautiful controller, it feels so good. So like that anime did Cyberpunk so much justice. The anime itself.
That's the new DualSense stroke controller?
No. I ain't no. Whoa. Hey.
I thought that was like the new dual edge.
Look, y'all can look at us. We Sony boys. All right, look. I ain't got that money. Like Xbox and Sony think motherfuckers got money to be bad pro controllers like
Switch
that.
Switch 2?
It's got a pro controller? Bro, Xbox got pro controller like damn near 120 or some shit like that. But it's a really good controller.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's very good for people with disabilities too, so I don't know why they priced it that high. But all in all, for me personally, I give that anime a nice 9 out of 10. I think the pacing itself is like through after episode 6. Like I said, this nigga had a One Piece time skip, swole as heck. But
even his relationship with Lucy, it was like one episode.
It
was like now we're in love. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, now we fuck. It was literally like that. Like now we fuck. But, like him taking like the date scene when she took that nigga to the moon. He didn't think nothing of it. That nigga man was like, nigga, she took you to the moon. Yeah. Nigga, you in there. But like I think that relationship in the beginning was really cool. Becca and her brother when her brother died, and that nigga was just standing there like this after getting shot. I thought he was still alive, and I was like, "Oh, it's another anime."
If he was still alive,
they died.
If he was still alive, then Becca killed him because she shot his head afterwards. Like I was supposed to kill this bastard. Like I was like, damn,
bro. It was really crazy. I think, I'm giving that 9 out of 10. That's a 9 out of 10 anime. Like I ain't giving 9 out of 10 since like. Probably like Ranking the Kings. I think I got an 8.5 or 9. Probably since like I ain't give Otakus in there. I ain't give a 9 in a minute. This is a minute, yo. It's a lot of mid that comes out. I think with the game, for us, I think it's higher on us because we know the game.
We have
the game
could have been.
In the game, We got content in the game, and all the Easter eggs they put within that anime. It made Night City seem like Gotham on fucking crack. That's a 9 out of 10 for me. Like I said, I binge watching in the day. Like what else? I did too. It was good.
And I don't binge stuff unless it's somewhat good. So I definitely agree. 9 out of 10. I highly recommend you check it out, especially if you played the game. I mean, hell, I think that David is a better protagonist than V. We only got him for like 10 episodes. Like I actually found myself like, yeah. If that happened to my mom, I'm becoming a Joker. Like we finna go.
Bro, that is crazy. The best villain origin story ever. Like his growth is a D. His growth, and I just need them to make more, bro. Like go ahead, throw Keanu a bag, make a Silverhand prequel.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Dude, let us play as fucking David in Cyberpunk too. Give us an Edgerunner. Give us an Edgerunner game. Story where we can just go around doing some of the missions and stuff like that.
You can find David Jacket, that nigga in the patch. Nigga in the patch.
Oh, yeah, I know. No, I mean, but like it'd be cool if like we could play Edgerunners and like do some of the side stuff like in between episodes and stuff like that. Like, that would be cool.
What I'm about to say, I don't know how this, because if you know the ending of Cyberpunk, you know many different endings. I don't know what ending they're gonna go with, but Johnny comes back in the new DLC. They confirmed that Johnny is back.
Did they say this is a sequel? Because from what I've said, this might just take place between in the story somewhere. It would make sense because there's a time limit on your life, but I just can't imagine like because that nigga's gone. Like it don't matter. Like
because Beans was like, is V going through his own cyber psychosis? Me and other accounts like, no, that nigga just dying.
No, he's just dying.
He's just dying.
It's crazy because it's like in 2077, you don't give a shit about cyber psychosis except if you're doing those Regina missions. But in the anime, it's like, oh, this shit is actually kind of a big deal.
It's a big, and I wish it was more. Like, bro, when I tell you, I wish it was like that, bro. that cyber psychosis, or if you, because you can technically do cyber psychosis as a character in Cyberpunk. You will take away the RAM and go with the I forgot what it's called, but it's a thing that make you go berserk. And you can technically do it. Bro, I don't know if you ever looked like, as you continue playing the game, like with as you level up, the stories gets better. Bro, like they got some new like cyberware in that game that once you catch on fire, you get more you get more powerful. Grants immunity at a certain, like for a 10, you could press R1 and it grants you immunity for like a 10-second span. I'm like, what the fuck was this when this shit dropped? I was like, and then you're also, I wish I would have known that, and my build would have been fucking different. But I'm looking at all this shit, I'm like, bro, like where was this shit at when it dropped?
At launch,
like,
bro.
You can wipe somebody's fucking brain off existence if you wanted to.
This game literally would have been, and no exaggeration, this would have been one of the greatest games of all time. Had they taken their time and like really did some shit that the anime did. And it's crazy when you just have all that retrospective. It's really like Cyberpunk is in its own unique anomaly of a bubble as far as like the existence of a video game, more so than something like something like No Man's Sky, where it's like it started off shit but then it just got better. But in this game, it's like it started off like decent enough where it's like, damn, this is a great game, but and now it's like damn, this is a great game, but
it has the reverse effect that other games have. Like, it'd be some of the most polished games in the world are some of the most boring. You know what I'm saying? Like some games that's pristine polished, you'd be like, God, this shit kind of weird. But Cyberpunk, it had, throughout any sandbox game that you can play, it had the most narrative from a sandbox game. Like for me, I just got down platinum Valhalla, right? That's a uber big open world. Would not recommend, right? The story is kind of like you gotta go find it. You gotta go find the story in Valhalla, right? Of course there's story missions, but for you to get in grip, you gotta find. And Cyberpunk is fucking there.
It's there. You see it.
There. Night City is there, and that anime made even better. Night City is better, but Night City is there. Like, I just wish it came out in a better state. Well, I just thank God, because there's so many people who gave up on passion projects in big video games, right? The only two people we look at in history, well, three technically, but Square Enix ain't got shit else to do, so they made a lot of money from Final Fantasy 15 off release, period. They were just like, you know what, let's make it even better.
Yeah.
But with No Man's Sky, folks ain't give up. Folks, I'm pretty sure folks almost thought about killing himself. How bad his press was.
His team was like, hey, listen, bro, take the L for the first couple months and let's bounce back.
And they still keeping true to everything is gonna be free. You don't have to worry about it. Just keep playing our game. And trust me, I'm on the No Man's Sky Reddit. Them niggas love it.
It's a great game now. From what I've seen, it's a great game.
It's a good game. Me personally, I can't get back into it, but it's a great game. For Cyberpunk, like, thank God that CD Projekt Red didn't give up. Because any other day I would have just gave up. Just like, there's so many games we're gonna talk about. Like Babylon Fall gave up. It gave up. EA has done out. EA has made so many like free to play games, like roller derbies or roller champions. That the service will cease in 2023.
What's roller derby?
Roller champions, not derby, because roller derby is a kind of, I think roller derby is a good like shooting roller skating game. But Roller Champions was a game in which it was a free to play like Rocket League type game, but the server they didn't do as good, so the servers are about to go kaput. Like Babylon's Fall, freaking like Anthem. Anthem came out in the shit state, was a very ambitious game, extremely ambitious game. Came out in the shit state, gave up on it. I hate to say this. We were just talking about it in the party too. What is it called? Jump Force. Ambitious to an extent. Crappy state. Gave up on it. Like in the fight, and people were like, "Oh, it was out for like 2 years." My nigga, Fighter's been out, and Xenoverse been out for
Xenoverse
X amount of years, and they still got content.
To pull
So,
Xenoverse is getting superhero content, bro. Like it's
and same thing with Kakarot, and same thing with like Shinobi Strikers. Games been out for years, and they still bring out content for them. So I don't want to hear the Jump Force, ran its course. Because if it was successful, trust me, it's too many anime characters under the Jump name.
They would have
Chainsaw Man would have been in that bitch.
Oh God,
like,
yeah.
And it would have been fucking fire if they got it right. So, like all in all, like shout out to CD Projekt Red. If anybody on the lookout for anything CD Projekt Red news, supposedly this year, and everybody who is a fan of this series, take it with a grain of salt. But the next gen version of Witcher is supposed to come out this quarter or next quarter of this year. I don't know if we're in the last quarter.
You talking about Witcher 4?
No, Witcher 4 has also been teased at, so that's actually a thing now. Even though they said
Witcher 3 getting a next gen.
Witcher 3 is getting a next gen upgrade, completely 4K, all the good things people like to hear in their ear. So all for like next gen. So no gameplay has been released, no nothing, but it's supposed to come out by the end of 2023. So take that with a grain of salt. They did do a teaser for the next Witcher game. You don't see Project Live, but they have to get face back in the community somehow. The Witcher 3 live action TV show is season 3 and 4 has filmed back to back. Been taped back to back, so we should be getting more on that. And it's a prequel series coming out as well. So CD Projekt Red and some of their properties are doing really, really good. Hopefully continue to do good.
I hope they bounce back, man, because I don't like to prey on niggas' downfall, but like they definitely got a lot of work to do to restore the faith.
I think they will, but shout out to them.